Well, we might as well get this show on the road.
Yeah, I don't know if I have anything good in the intro for that.
I got nothing.
So yeah, I'll try to go through the back catalog and see if I can pull some old intros from you or something. We'll just throw in the beginning.
All right.
We won't know what it's from, or it has no bearing on what the hell we're going to talk about, but...
Most of my intros are me laughing at your intro, so you could pull one of many.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if I get a laugh out of you with this one. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one.
You might just get the general disappointment shake. No.
Yeah, the one that no one listening can hear. It works really good for an audio podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Brad Guy and His Super Friends, where we watch the CW probably as much as all the teenage girls out there. I'm your host, Brian Labick, and my one and only guest for this episode is Mike Romano.
You know, that is pretty true. There's probably a lot of females that watch the CW, and we're like the only dudes. Yeah. Right.
Or, you know, what, Vampire Diaries and...
Yeah.
What else?
I mean, the CW is like a chick channel.
It was. It's now been replaced by DC TV.
It's DC channel now.
Yeah. More or less.
Supernatural. But I bet you a lot of chicks watch that too.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure more chicks watch that than guys.
Probably.
I'm one of the only guys.
I've heard good things. It's one of those shows I've meant to check out, but it's like, what, 10 seasons in, and I don't think
12?
I have that. 12 seasons?
I think so, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
11
right.
maybe, somewhere around there.
That's even more of a daunting task now. I don't know if I have the time to try to dive into that.
Mine started as just a fluke. I was like home, like, I think it was like, it's like everything. You know, you're homesick one day, and it's like TNT always has, it's TNT or TBS has like a block. Sometimes it's 3 hours, sometimes it's 6 hours. It just happened to be one of those days that it was like 6 hours. And I sat there and watched it, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, man, it's a pretty good show. So I saw that it was on Netflix, so I went back to season 1 and started from the beginning.
Jeez.
That took a while.
I was gonna say, how long did that take you?
Well, I've been watching it steadily, like, as it comes out, probably for 3 seasons now. 4 seasons. No, maybe 5. So I think I only had like 6 or so to actually
that
watch.
would feel a little bit more doable.
But still, those are 24 episode seasons. So I mean, that's still
hour-long episodes, right?
Yeah. 44 minutes. But.
Sorry, yeah, no commercials. 44. Still pretty daunting, though.
Yes, it is.
Well, it's official. You're just a TV nut, then.
Basically, I mean, we've discussed this before. This is the guy that had like 31 TV shows recording on his DVR.
Yeah, you gotta represent.
Hey, I'm down to like 22 now, okay?
How close are you to cutting Gotham? I feel like that's gonna be on the way out, right?
No, you know what? It kind of, it didn't pull me back in, but it's still manageable.
I'm still waiting for the time when you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done.
I have a feeling it could happen, but there's rumors that the kid that played the Joker, the Joker.
Yeah, I saw the headlines too.
He's coming back, so that'll probably suck me right back in because I fucking loved him.
They'll probably only get him on for like 1 episode, and then maybe, possibly kill him again.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we need ratings. Better bring him back again next season.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah. So spinning off from that DC show,
yeah,
we're gonna get into all the other CW DC shows.
Maybe that'll move to CW next.
Oh, I don't know if I could handle a Gotham crossover with all the Arrowverse. That would not work for me. I don't think,
because it's 2 different eras.
Yeah, that just seems like a mess.
Yeah.
Oh, now I just keep thinking like what that would be like, and I don't think I like any of that. Yeah, I don't even know where to begin with that. But so anyway, for this episode, Mike and I are finally going to get a chance to talk about the CWDC. It's too many acronyms. I'm not going to be able to.
It's too many letters.
CWDC TV universe. We had attended, I think, a while ago to try to talk about the premieres whenever the the premieres happen for all these shows, but we never actually got around to that with scheduling and other topics to cover and whatnot, so it kind of got put on the back burner. And they just finished up their big 4-episode, 4-night crossover with all of their shows.
3.5. Yeah.
So,
3.25.
Oh, that's, yeah. We don't know if we can count Supergirl for that one, but it was part of the promo, so we'll chalk it in there. So yeah, that just kind of ended, actually probably about a half hour ago. So we're gonna sit down and talk about what we thought about that crossover and try to even maybe go back and just talk about these seasons as a whole, how they've been going so far, what we thought of the shows individually, and then we'll probably go into the crossover. But since we'll probably be getting in depth with each of the different shows, we'll be talking about this crossover. I'm going to throw out the spoiler alert now. So we will be talking spoilers for the CW DC TV shows. They could, we'll probably talk about past seasons, all the stuff that's going on currently. So if you haven't caught up and you want to keep some surprises for yourself, just pause us now, come back to us later. Or if you haven't seen the crossover event yet and don't want to be spoiled for that, you can pause us now too. And I realize it's probably asking a lot, but if you want to catch up to like 10 seasons worth of TV before you, if you pause this, that's again, what we just talked about, it's pretty daunting to go back and watch all those seasons. Because between, Arrow's on season 5, Flash is on season 3, so that's 8 seasons?
8 seasons, and Legends is on season 2. And
Supergirl's
on season 2, so that's 12.
Yeah, so that's a lot of shit to catch up with.
Well, you figure you take out the new seasons, so that's 4, right? So 8 seasons to get caught up, somewhat caught up.
That's for the podcast we're putting out today, you got to go back and watch 8 seasons worth of stuff, and then watch all the current stuff, which is probably another season and a half in itself.
Yeah.
So good luck with all that, and then come back to us. We'll be waiting for you.
Have no life. It's wintertime. Duh.
It's cold. Just stay inside and watch all the CW TV shows.
Seriously, turn into a chick.
All right, so yeah, spoilers to follow, and you can catch us after.
Wee-oo, spoiler! Wee-oo, spoiler! Something like that.
Okay, spoiler alerts out of the way. We're going to try to get into this. Like I said, we'll probably start with just going back through each of the CW shows, starting with Supergirl. We'll go to Flash, Arrow, Legends, and just sort of talk about what the seasons have been this far for us and what we've thought. So just starting with Supergirl, I guess, what do you think of this current season so far?
It's better than what was on ABC by far.
CBS.
I think so. CBS, yeah, whatever it is. They got away from the girl power shit, I think, a little bit. But it sucks though, because I feel like I'm being almost sexist, because they're introducing more male characters and it's making me like it more. Maybe, I don't know. Well, you figure the first couple episodes featured Superman.
Yeah.
So and those episodes I thought were phenomenal. I don't know.
Yeah, the first 2 with him, I really liked.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just the chemistry with those two.
I think that was a big part of it. I think the way that that Supergirl and Superman were playing off each other, you instantly got that relationship.
Yeah.
And how that worked.
Yeah. Now they got Mon-El, so it's an extra male character.
Yeah.
But they've also introduced a couple extra female characters too. So I don't want to feel like I'm being sexist about it, but I feel like it's been better, but I don't know if it's because they have more male characters now, or if it's just because it's just being produced better. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just sort of falling more in line with maybe the tone that we're expecting from the other CW shows.
Yeah.
It did feel a little displaced, I feel like, last season.
Yeah.
You're right. I think it did lean, I think, pretty heavily on the girl power part of it.
They tried to play that up way too much.
They were beating you over the head with it.
Especially the first 5-6 episodes. It was just obnoxious. And they kind of went away from that a little bit.
I think we talked about it, I don't know, one of the episodes probably we did last year talking about the show, but the song selection in those first 5 episodes was so on the nose, it wasn't even funny.
Yeah.
And so they definitely, I think, came around. And it was funny, the beginning of this season, immediately in the first episode, it was we changed this, we changed that. They're flat out telling you how stuff changed from last season to this season. Mm-hmm. So you could almost, if you didn't know that they changed networks, it's almost like you could probably tell just because of all the shit that was different. The freaking DEO is suddenly in downtown National City. It's like, oh, we've always had an office here. Well, then why the fuck didn't you use it last season?
Yeah, exactly.
Rather just hide in a cave the whole time.
Yeah, I think so far it's been. I mean, it's had a couple episodes, but every show has, especially every series that runs for 24 goddamn episodes or whatever it is, they're gonna have those filler episodes that are just like, it's okay.
Yeah, how do you feel about James Olsen suiting up?
I don't know how I feel about it because, I mean, like, Jimmy Olsen was never the Guardian. At least I'm not a DC guy, but I don't think Jimmy Olsen ever suited up as Guardian.
But not to my knowledge, but I don't really know that stuff either.
But his suit's pretty fucking badass, though. I mean,
yeah, the outfit's kind of cool.
And he looks good.
Kind of reminds me, like, I feel like that's what Diggle should be wearing in
Yeah,
Arrow.
well, that's what I thought Diggle was going to become. I thought Diggle was going to become Guardian. And they never went that route, so...
Okay.
I guess CW figured, well, if Arrow didn't use it with Diggle, fuck it, we're gonna use it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm okay with. I mean, so far it's been pretty cool. I kind of digging the Jimmy Olsen.
I feel like they just gave it to him just because they needed that character to do something.
Well,
like,
yeah,
he's no longer the love interest, so let's just make him a hero.
Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, I get that.
Which was also kind of funny. Like last season, they built up the whole like love thing with him in Supergirl, and then the first episode they dropped that. Like, oh, I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah, like that's done. Yeah. See you later.
Yeah, because I don't know the whole fact of him suiting up. It's like never once in that episode before did he show any type of fighting ability, and yet he's on the streets like kicking the crap out of people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be like an insensitive person, but now I feel like, okay, so we've gone away from the girl power thing, but now we're on the let's talk about gay and lesbian stuff now too. With her sister.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. That's fine, whatever. But it's like I feel like there's always so I just want somebody just to make a goddamn show. Just make a show with no other hidden agendas. Just make a show to entertain people.
Well,
I get they're trying to hit demographics. I understand that.
At its core, it is a show for women, so I'm sure there are some women that can relate to that storyline,
Yeah.
and I think it was handled fairly well.
Oh, it was. It's just that, like, I just feel like, I mean, yeah, because it's not being, like, shoved down your throat. Like, at the beginning, it was, like, girl power.
And it didn't seem like it came out of nowhere, either. I felt like they were placing those seeds earlier in the season, and it finally started to pay off recently.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike, I think, what you described to me in Gotham with that whole kind of thing.
With,
Riddler
Penguin and Riddler. Well, it's really more Penguin towards Riddler, and Riddler's like,
But yeah, the way you described that, because I don't watch the show, but the way you described that to me, it seemed like it just came out of nowhere.
It did. It just came out of, like left field. It was so weird.
Yeah, so at least this show didn't do that. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'm not trying to be insensitive or anything like that, but it's just, just make a show,
I will say that I think the special effects work better this season.
Absolutely, they are a lot better.
I think Supergirl flying looks better.
She doesn't look like you can tell she's not hanging from a rope.
Yeah,
from the harness stuff. Yeah.
Yes, I don't know if they just figured out a way to do it, or if somehow that was factored into the budget. Like, okay, this looks cheap as shit in the first season. We gotta fix that.
Maybe it was. Yeah. I don't know, maybe CW's... Well, either that or, you know what, because it was on CBS, maybe because, CBS has so many other shows that they probably sink more money into, that it was kind of like a...
I thought I heard that, like, it cost a shit ton to make for CBS, but part of the reason it came to CW was because it was going to be cheaper to produce. So people expected less special effects, and I feel like we're getting even, like, more Martian Manhunter in this, too.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised they're able to do as much as they are with, a quote-unquote CW budget.
CW must just have better people.
I mean, you don't think it's the same people? I feel like it would be the same creative team, right?
No, I'm talking about, like, people that work for CW, like, that do all this, like, the CG and stuff like that. Maybe they just have better people. I don't know. Maybe better makeup and costume designers and stuff like that. I mean, it's possible.
It's probably, like... Well, I think the other thing is, Supergirl shot, I feel like, in LA, and all the CW shows shoot in, like, Vancouver.
Canada, yeah, it's cheaper.
So I think it's a lot cheaper to shoot there, so they're probably saving money that way. Mm-hmm. And maybe they can put all that extra stuff into better effects.
Yeah. I mean, she was featured a good bit in this crossover too. So,
yeah, and we'll talk. I felt like the effects for her looked really shitty in the crossover, but
yeah, they did. Oh, I think because it was just so big that they kind of probably had to cut sub budget somewhere.
yeah, I think for as much time as they had on this, and plus the crossover probably had more special effects than any other of these shows on their own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So maybe they just didn't have the time to polish it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but some of the CG shots of her flying just look really terrible.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, especially this last episode.
Yeah, I think I don't know which one. I think it was the Flash one that really stood out to me as like, wow, that looks terrible.
Maybe I missed that one.
Couple of her shots. Like, especially like when she was chasing him through the building.
Oh, yeah.
There was one shot of her like flying up and like just floating there. I think, we sort of talked about it before we started recording, but like Kara's hair is sort of like curly when she's just kind of standing there, but when she's flying around, it's like flowy and straight. And it's like, that doesn't match up to the way she looks, because
she's going so fast, so it's pushing it all back.
Yeah, but it's not like a wind-torn look. Like, she's literally just floating in the air, and her hair's just, like, straight as can be, down her face. And then when she stops and she just lands on the ground, it's back to being curly again.
Yeah, you're right, though. So, I hate when you point out things like that, because now I'm going to see it every fucking time.
I don't think it's
just like shaky
stand
cam.
Out
just like shaky cam. Every fucking thing I watch on that shaky cam.
Good. You should be aware of that shaky cam. It's a fucking terrible thing, and it needs to go away.
Yeah.
But I don't think like the effects of her flying and stuff, like we said in her show, I think look better than this crossover. So I think maybe the crossover itself was just kind of rushed or too much going on. Or
I think that and you figured they had to CG all the aliens and stuff like that. So I mean, I think a lot of the budget might have been blown there too.
And the aliens looked good.
Yeah.
I thought they actually looked really good for a TV budget. So I don't know.
So maybe that's where they blew all their money.
Yeah, it could be. But back to just Supergirl. One other thing, they lost I guess one of their bigger cast members when they moved to CW. We don't have Callista Flockhart anymore.
She gone? Because I was wondering what happened there.
I'm pretty sure it was. They shot in LA for CBS. She didn't want to go to move up to Canada to shoot.
Oh, okay.
So they wrote her out of the show. So, I mean, if they want to, I'm sure they could bring her back for an episode or two, like just for cameo purposes. But
yeah.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, she's gone.
Okay, so that's why I was wondering, and I figured it was probably something like that. There you go. You're saving money there too, because she's probably demanded a high penny.
Yeah, that could be too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we got James in charge of the company.
Mm-hmm.
And then that Snapper guy is Kara's new boss.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're supposed to be sort of the fill-in for Cat Grant, I guess. Oh, and when did remind me if I missed something, but pretty sure like the first episode of this season of Supergirl, Wynn suddenly comes out and says, oh yeah, by the way, I know how to speak all these alien languages or read them or something now. When the hell did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
All of a sudden he works at the DEO and knows how to translate all this shit for them.
I think that happened after the first couple episodes. I thought they liked what he did. He did something.
I feel like at the beginning of this season he was already working there, right?
No, I don't think so. I think it was a couple episodes in. I think it was probably when Superman was there, and I think he helped fight those the Cadmus guys that had the Krypton in them.
Yeah, he gave them some sort of tech.
I think that's when he got his job. I think that's when they hired him.
I don't know. I could have sworn he was already there from the beginning.
I'm not sure. I can't remember now. That was like 8 weeks ago, dude.
I know. That's why we got to do this when it first comes out. Otherwise, I forget all this little shit.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll generally say Supergirl's improved from last season. I think that's a safe bet. And we'll move on to The Flash. So what do we think of The Flash in its third season now?
Dude, The Flash is still one of my favorite shows.
I agree. I love this show.
It's the number 2 comic book show on TV. Sorry, Walking Dead's number 1 for me, so. But, Flash, I mean, it's just, I feel like it just keeps getting better and better. I don't know. To me, it seems like it doesn't seem to be plateauing yet.
Yeah.
I mean, the story, I mean, I get the story's gonna be the same every time. It's like, okay, we got the bad guy, we gotta find out a way to beat the bad guy. Oh, new bad guy comes, we gotta figure out how to beat the bad guy. Like, there's like the general big bad, the whole season. and it's finding a way to beat said big bad. It's the same thing. Third season, first it was Reverse Flash, second was
Zoom,
and now this is Alchemy and
Savitar.
Savitar, yeah, Savitar. Yeah.
Which I don't know anything about either of
no
those
clue.
characters.
Savitar is like, I looked him up. He is a DC character, but he's like the Hindu god of speed or something like that.
I mean, I think he flat out tells Flash he's a god.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, and
He looks fucking badass too.
Yeah, he's pretty good CG.
It was freaky as hell too. Like the first time you're introduced to him, and he's like holding Flash up, but nobody can see him, so it just looks like Flash is pinned against the ceiling by nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a cool effect.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised, like the way last season ended, setting up the Flashpoint stuff. That Flashpoint technically kind of just lasted one episode. Like in the premiere, it was kind of done, and like
it was a couple episodes, I think, wasn't it?
It was just one. Like
Really?
I'm pretty sure he tried to reset the timeline at the end of the first episode, and that
I thought
was
it was the second one, but okay. Yeah, and but you're still getting the ripples of Flashpoint in everything, though.
Yeah,
So-
I just figured he'd hang out with his parents for like the first 3 or 4 episodes, and then shit would slowly spiral out of control.
I guess you couldn't do that though, because ratings would take a fall if there was no action.
Well, I guess I also assumed that maybe it was going to follow closer to the comic or the, that storyline in the comics or whatever,
Yeah.
that Barry wouldn't have powers.
Yeah.
Like they still let him have his speed in that one, so I guess he was able to wrap things up a little bit quicker. Because I was thinking, like, oh, he's not going to have his speed, so the first couple episodes, like, they got to find a way to get his speed back, and then he's going to have to travel back in time, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I was surprised by that too, but it was still cool. The season's been good so far, and I get what it set up and how they wrote it, because now that Alchemy's like getting all these people that were in Flashpoint and giving them their powers from Flashpoint somehow, and I'm sure they're going to tie that all together somehow with whatever that his stone that he has or whatever he's using.
Well, we did finally get the reveal of who Alchemy is, right?
Yeah, his sorcerer's stone. Yeah, good old fucking
Malfoy.
Draco Malfoy.
Which, were you and I texting? I know I texted somebody watching the first couple episodes when he was introduced and saying, is it too early to assume that he's the bad guy?
Yeah, I think it might have been me. Well, because I think in an interview that he had, they go, he said that they hired me for a reason because I play a character well. Or I play something well. And it was like, well, he plays a dickhead, a bad guy, very well.
Well, dickhead and bad guy are two different things, because he was pulling off dickhead pretty good. But it didn't necessarily mean he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it just seemed too obvious of a point for him to be Alchemy. I was hoping there was going to be some sort of twist there. Although I guess if like Alchemy is controlled by the servitor guy or serves him somehow, maybe that's, since he's not the big bad, maybe that's something else.
Yeah. He's a henchman of the big bad.
Yeah. So I am interested to see where that goes. And I thought he's been doing a pretty good job on the show.
Yeah, I like him. I like how they kind of brought Killer Frost into it too.
Yeah, she just already had powers then, I guess. So I guess that it's
Flashpoint caused that though.
Yeah.
So
I'm actually a little sad we don't see more of Jesse Quick and
Yeah.
the other Harrison.
yeah, I thought we were gonna. I don't know how I feel about this new Harrison Wells.
The HR.
HR. I mean, it's showing great character range from him. Like
Tom Kavanov's awesome.
that he can play like all these different characters in all 3 seasons. He's basically playing a different Harrison Wells every season. So
And that's
far.
got to be fun for him.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, because he's like basically get to reinvent himself every season, where everybody else got to just maintain status quo.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to give Cisco more stuff to do. Now that he's all bitter about Flashpoint and stuff like that, but I'm kind of over it. I think I just want my funny Cisco back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no more vibe.
I mean, I'm okay with vibe.
But yeah, just make him funny, quippy. Quote.
Yeah, it's like the first couple episodes.
Cisco.
Like he's not even naming the villains and stuff like that. Like I always enjoyed the names he came up with for people and all his inside geeky jokes and stuff like that. There was none of that. It was just really dry and
Yeah, you're right.
boring almost kind of with him. So hopefully that turns around sometime soon. We got a little bit more development, I guess, in the crossover from that.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they finally like turn the page and then move forward.
Yeah. So far the season's been great, I think. I'm really excited for next week's episode, because it looks pretty cool, because it looks like we're getting, his dad.
Jay Garrick back.
Yeah, Jay Garrick's coming back.
Is that the mid-season finale, I think?
Yes. Yeah, mid-season finales are all next week.
Yeah, okay. All right, so move on to, I guess, the show that started it all, which is Arrow, into its 5th season. Just crossed the 100th episode milestone, which we'll get to. Which, you and I have talked on past shows. The first 2 seasons of Arrow are fucking great.
Yes.
Seasons 3 and 4 took a downward spiral. 4 was probably the worst season out of all of them, I think.
Yes.
It just felt kind of contrived and really boring, and almost like they didn't know what the hell they were doing, and you could tell watching the show.
Yeah, it's kind of like they were trying to find their way again, or something. I don't know what the hell they were trying to do.
So what have you thought so far of season 5?
I like it better. The fight scenes still, though, seem just really fucking just hokey to me. I don't know. They don't seem as good, well choreographed as they used to be.
The first couple episodes, I thought, that was one thing that stood out to me. I thought the choreography was actually really good the first couple episodes.
The first couple, you're right, they were. But it seems to be like, I don't know, I guess when you get people that don't know how to fight, like don't know martial arts or anything like that, you try to train them just for a TV show, it's never going to look 100% real.
Yeah, but how much is that? Like, I don't think that's actually like Stephen Amell doing all that stuff. With the hood up and the mask on, that's got to be somebody else for the wide shots.
Well, probably.
Like actually doing the fighting, that's got to be a trained professional.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the fighting with the bow and stuff like that. I think maybe that's what it is. Just having the bow in his hand and fighting with that, trying to fight with that, just doesn't seem real to me.
Yeah.
So you'd be breaking your fucking bow if you're hitting somebody with that. I'm sorry.
It's just that special of a bow, man.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess when you have Oliver Queen money, I guess you can do that.
Well, I thought he was broke. Wasn't he broke?
Oh, that's right, he is broke. Well, he's the mayor now, so he's got all kind of money. He's a corrupt mayor.
I think it's like the staple for all the millionaire playboy types. You just make them go broke and then try to get them to figure out what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think, this season has definitely been a good uptick from the last couple. I don't know how I feel about the new team.
Yeah, I like for some reason, I don't know why, but I like the dude with the rags.
Yeah.
He's kind of cool. I don't know why. But Wild Dog, I don't know, or Mad Dog.
I don't know why he pisses me off, but he
gets
does.
on my nerves, yeah.
And then frickin' Curtis, it makes no sense to me why Curtis is fighting crime.
Absolutely, because he got his ass kicked that one time. So
that one time.
Do a difference. He wanted to make a difference.
They made a whole fuss, like, last season about him and his boyfriend, like, trying to, stay out of it and be together. And yet, he's at the Arrow Cave more than he's anywhere else. Like, why is his boyfriend or husband or whatever, like, not calling constantly saying, where are you at? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And his outfit is fucking you can't tell that's Curtis because he has a big black T on his face? That is not a disguise whatsoever.
They kept that pretty damn similar to the comic books.
I realize that's probably where it came from, but it's a terrible fucking costume.
Yeah.
Freaking Diggle has a mask. Just give him a mask.
Yeah, seriously, just give him a helmet. And that's the other thing too, was like Mr. Terrific, I know from what I just looked up online and stuff like that in the comic books, he was like a big dude. Like, I mean, he was like a big brawling dude.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I mean, he was like ripped and cut and like jacked, and Curtis is none of that shit.
He's got to work on that salmon ladder.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm trying to go with that. I do still like the show. I think it is.
Yeah. It's still better than most of the crap that's out there.
Yeah. I don't know if it's... Sadly, though, I think, compared to these other 4... No, I don't know. I might put Supergirl at the bottom for me. I do think Legends... I think Legends is above Arrow. In, like, what I like the best out of these 4. I think I'd have to go Flash, Legends, Arrow, and Supergirl.
Yeah,
I feel like Arrow's sort of hovering towards the bottom for me. As good as it's been getting now, I still think it's got a lot to sort of bring me back around, I think, from the last couple seasons. Because they always start... I feel like the seasons always start really well. Yeah. And then somewhere in the middle, it just kind of putters out, and then it's whether or not by the end of the season they save it, and the last couple they haven't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just typical, like I said before, these damn TV shows that want to have 24 fucking episodes a season instead of doing half of that and making really good shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. You gotta spread it out. They want the ratings. They want those time slots, I guess, But so you're always going to get your filler episodes.
I'm trying to remember for Arrow, we have, the Vigilante is the guy that they're chasing now. Who the hell was the other guy with the arrows and the swords that they were chasing? I can't remember his name now. And we don't know the identity of either one of those, right?
Well, they made it seem like it was Quentin.
Oh, because he had the throwing star or whatever on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it's him. I feel like it's got to be that new DA, right?
I think the new DA is Vigilante. I'm pretty sure that's
the guy
what
with
I heard.
the guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure
okay.
I read that.
Oh, they spoiled that already?
I don't.
Or was that like a theory somewhere?
Maybe a theory somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, that was sort of what I was thinking. I feel like it's got to be him.
Yeah. Prometheus is the other guy.
Oh, that's right.
Which I don't know if there's a Prometheus that exists in the...
Yeah, we should have done our research. Yeah. I didn't bother looking
before we... My theory is on it. If it's not Quentin, I think it's Tommy Merlin.
The only thing with that is that Tommy Merlin has
TV show,
has another show.
Yeah. That was my thought, though, because of Flashpoint. Because we haven't seen Malcolm yet.
Oh, that's true, too. Maybe... Unless it's just Malcolm. It could just be Malcolm.
It could be just Malcolm, yeah.
Maybe there
or
was
Malcolm was the one that died, and Tommy lived. That's where I was thinking it was going. But maybe it is Quentin. Maybe when he blacks out drunk, he turns into this fucking badass bow and arrow dude. I don't...
That seems like really hard to believe, I feel like.
Because what really made me think about it was because you notice how Quentin had that cut on his arm?
Yeah.
And What's-Her-Face cut him on the subway. She hit him at one point on the subway. In the arm.
Now, see, I don't know if I remember that.
Yeah. So that's why I think it might be Quentin. Whenever he's blackout drunk, he's a fucking badass.
I thought he had something like carved into his arm, like somebody wrote something, like a message to him. I didn't think it was just a cut.
I thought it was just a gash. It was just a slice on his forearm.
We're getting all our details screwed up. I don't know who's right.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm all confused.
I can't remember what I did yesterday, so you might not want to take whatever I say with me. They just want to be like a smile and nod, huh?
We could just be telling everybody a whole bunch of bullshit. We don't even know what the hell we're talking about anymore.
I mean, hey, whatever. That'll make them want to watch it, because they'll want to know if we're right or not.
Either that or everyone that knows whether or not we're right is just yelling at us saying, you guys are fucking retarded.
Well, that's probably true, too.
Get your shit right.
I think they probably do that anyways, but...
How the hell are you doing this and not us? We know what the fuck we're talking about. What kind of show is this? This fucking shit show. Alright, we'll move on to Legends of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So they're on their second season.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about this show in its second season?
I'm liking it. I like we had the introduction of the JSA. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're dealing with fucking Damien Dark again just pisses me off, because I just wanted that character to go away after Arrow. I really did. Good.
The only reason he's got to be in there is some sort of motivation for Sarah, right? Like, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't... I mean, just that and the fact that they brought back, what's-his-face? The other speedster.
Reverse Flash.
Yeah, Reverse Flash. I can't remember what his name is. Eobard Thawne. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they brought him back, so it's like they got two villains from two other shows that are going to be the villains in this show.
See, I think that's kind of cool, though.
It is cool. It is cool, but I like, seeing, like I said, like the Justice Society. I'm really confused, though, like how all of a sudden Vixen got thrown into that. Because, like, Vixen was on Arrow.
Yeah.
So, that really confused me.
Well, they make it seem like, the necklace gets passed down, right?
So
the Vixen we see in Arrow could just be, like, the granddaughter of the Vixen from the JSA.
It's the same chick.
Different actress.
Was it a different actress?
Yeah.
Oh.
That much I know for sure.
Oh, was it different? Oh, I thought it was the same actress.
Yeah, I'm like 90% positive they switched the actress.
Yeah, so that's like IMDb this shit.
Yeah, check my math on that.
Okay, let's see. We'll check Arrow first. So let's keep talking while I'm doing this.
So yeah, I mean, if my theory is correct and it's a different actress, because they don't ever actually call her by her actual name, right? Like is it just Vixen? They just call her Vixen?
I can't remember, honestly.
Because like if they use the same name, if it's the actual like same character, then yeah, that could be confusing. But I don't, to my knowledge, I don't think they ever call her by her name, other than like the code name.
Yeah.
And if it's basically the necklace that gives power, then you just pass the necklace down, and that would conceivably work.
This is also true.
But I mean, that whole JSA thing, especially because who was the one that died that Reverse Flash killed? Now I can't even think of the guy's name. Because he was the one that showed up at the end of the first season, right? And was like,
yes,
I'm warning you that you guys are going to die at this point or something.
Yes.
So if he's dead, does that alter the whole thing? And like,
is that Our Man? It was Our Man?
No, it wasn't. Shit. Because he was the leader. I don't think Iron Man was the leader.
It was the dude that was on suit, so I know that.
I don't want to try to Google it because I feel like it's going to take me too long to find the damn answer.
Yeah, just like trying to find whoever played Vixen, because I don't even see it.
She was only in like two episodes of Arrow?
Was that all it was?
So it wasn't a lot. Alright, well if you're looking, maybe I'll look myself and see if I can figure out the name of this fucking guy that I can't think of.
Her real name is Macy Richard Sellers.
So do they give her an actual character name, or is it just Vixen?
It is on Legends of Tomorrow. It is Amaya Jawiya, J-I-W-E.
Maya. So they might call her Maya. I feel like that makes sense.
Amaya, yeah, it's Amaya something, and then it's also Vixen. So let's see. Oops, shit. Yeah, she played Vixen on Arrow.
Did she?
Yep.
I could have. All right.
She was in the Force Awakens.
Really?
Yeah, she was Corsella. I don't know who that was, but
now I'm like racking my brain. Like, where did I see her somewhere in there?
She could have just been an alien painted and dressed up. So
oh, you're right. That guy was Our Man.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was wrong. You got me on that one too. Yeah, but if he dies there, does he not go back to warn them in season 1? Like, this is the whole thing with time travel. It, like, fucks everything up.
Yeah, and then you really got to start thinking about things, and it really does. It really messes with your head.
Yeah, I'm all confused with that now. Because then, like, I guess Reverse Flash is there just because of Flashpoint, right? Like, that's the only reason he's floating around.
No, because Barry brings him back in Flashpoint, and he's able to.
Right, but he was the one that like ran back with Barry, and then like he fucked a bunch of stuff up, and then like left Barry on the porch.
And then he ran off, and he can travel through time with the Speed Force.
So you're saying all the stuff that he's doing now is happening after he dropped Barry off?
Yes.
Okay, because I was thinking it was like in the interim, like when they came back, and then in between dropping Barry off.
No, I think it's after. I mean, I don't know. The whole time travel thing really fucks me up, and I'm way too tired to be thinking about that.
Yeah, I really want to see what Reverse Flash's endgame is.
Mm-hmm. I like the new guy, the newest edition. The guy turns the Colossus, the DC Colossus, Steel, which is such a jack because that's John Henry Irons of Steel.
Oh, that was like one of the Superman things, right?
Well, that I at least remember about DC.
Yeah, that was after post Death of Superman.
Yep.
See, I know a little bit too.
Yeah, see, look at that. I'm not all Spider-Man, guys. That's right.
Yeah, he does pretty good. I do like him.
Yeah, I like him. I like his character.
That
he's a history buff, and like, because I mean, I was a history major, so it kind of just like entertains me. I love the samurai episode.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a fucking great episode, just because I have like this huge obsession with samurai. But other than that, it was just a really good episode too.
Yeah, I thought that was a good episode for Ray too.
Yeah, that he, his like building him to be a better person, like building his story up a little bit and building him up a little bit, and then having to destroy the Atom suit.
And then having.
But it looks like he's got it back now, so it looks like he's got a new one now.
Well, yeah, because when they went back to meet up with Jonah Hex again. All the minerals or whatever they found that the guy was hoarding was the same stuff he used to make the suit.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
So he makes an off comment somewhere about having an abundance of Dwarf Star and a way to replicate the suit on the ship. that was like the missing ingredient to be able to do that.
How is it that their clothes maker that they have? Like,
Yeah,
it's
more or
able to
less,
make-
I guess. All the sci-fi shit, you just replicate everything.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Jeez, you did it once, do it again, right?
Yeah, sure.
You wrote that down. You took notes. You got your instructions.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think, between Vixen and the Steel guy, I think they've been pretty good additions to the team.
Yeah, definitely.
I do like Mick, him and his nicknames, and him and, why can't Ray
Yeah,
teaming up for a little bit.
yeah.
thought that was
I like
pretty
Mick
cool.
just in general because I think like just some of his one-liners and just his attitude is just, and like in that samurai one, he's like, I always wanted to be a ninja. It's just like, it's like he's a big fucking kid.
Yeah.
A big kid that drinks.
His character, I don't know if they know what to do with him, because he was almost a straight up villain in the first season, and now he's just kind of I don't know, I don't want to say going with the flow, but
Well,
doesn't
maybe
really
after,
seem like he...
maybe after what's his face's death, Snart's death, maybe it made him, change of heart, a little bit.
So suddenly he's just a straight up good guy now.
I don't know if he's a straight up good guy, but maybe he sees the end game, the mission, a little bit more. I mean, because you still see that he wants to do bad guy stuff still. So
Yeah, that's fair.
but you kind of need that though. It's kind of like you kind of need him. You need that when you're dealing with bad guys. You kind of need that bad guy element that would be like, oh, this is how I would do it. Oh, okay.
Balance them all out.
Yeah.
I got you.
Keeping everybody honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably where we can sort of wrap up what we think about that season, or the seasons currently. Because I think we're probably about halfway through the episode now, so we'll get on to the crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we've touched on everything individually, so I guess the promos hyped this up as the heroes versus aliens angle. I think they were tagging it like Invasion and stuff too.
That was the name of the episodes.
Oh, each one was just called Invasion?
The Flash, Arrow, and Legends were all called Invasion. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I guess with these aliens, how much did you know about the Dominators going in?
I knew absolutely zero.
Okay. Yeah, me neither.
I know.
So-
I knew that the Invasion storyline in the DC comics was like somewhere, like from what I read, was like sometime in like the late '80s, early '90s, maybe.
Okay.
That it was a storyline in the comics, but I didn't read anything. I didn't read any more into it other than that's just what it was.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know how close to the comics the whole thing was. I didn't actually get a chance to look too much of that up.
I'm gonna assume that it probably wasn't close, other than the fact that just the way that they looked, because they looked very similar to what they looked like with the pictures I saw from the comic books. Other than they were like bright yellow with a big red dot on their head. I mean,
Yeah,
they
that
were
was
kind of
gonna
more
be-
like a tanny flesh color, maybe a little bit darker than that.
And they still had that red
They
tint.
did have a red tint on the top, but there wasn't like just like a circular dot that was like that's all it was. It was
Yeah.
just a circular dot.
All right, so just going by, I guess, like the individual episodes in the crossover, we'll start with Supergirl since she was, supposed to kick it off, I guess.
Yeah, that's why we're calling it 3 1/4 episode crossover.
Yeah, there wasn't too much. I was a little disappointed how it,
Yeah.
it
And
was
you know
supposed
what,
to be the kickoff and didn't really do too much.
When I first, because the funny thing is because Supergirl's episode was the only one that wasn't called Invasion. It was called Medusa.
Right. Okay.
So I was like right then and there, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be one of those ones. It's gonna be like the last minute, and like the first one, like the very beginning when they had like the warp bubble or whatever thing
Yeah.
that Cisco creates. Whenever we saw that pop up and then go away, I was like, oh god, that's what it's gonna be. And it's not the last minute. They're gonna pop up and say, hey, we need your help.
I mean, I guess it makes sense with her being on the other Earth. Like, if they invade, it's not going to affect her at all.
Yeah, and I get that. Yeah.
But I was still kind of, they hype it up as this big crossover thing, so I was figuring that somewhere in the beginning of the episode, they just come in and say, we need your help, and then they pull her in with everybody else, and then you get the, the storyline of over the 4 episodes.
But I get that, like, because even though it was a crossover, did you notice that how each individual episode featured all of their characters, whereas the other ones didn't?
What do you? Oh, you mean for Supergirl?
Like, no, like Flash featured like the rest of Team Flash.
Oh,
more.
yeah.
But you didn't see them in Arrow and Legends. And like the Arrow one, it focused it had like new Team Arrow, but you don't see them at all in Legends.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's why that's also a reason why they did it, is like just to keep, Supergirl still the Supergirl show and just like, bits and pieces.
I mean, you really could have just started watching from Flash, because you didn't miss anything. Like, the whole thing that they do at the very end of Supergirl, they play again in Flash.
Yeah. It just sounds better that they made it a 4-part,
Yeah. Keep everybody connected, even though Supergirl's still sort of on her own. But they gave her that little device thing, so she can sort of come back whenever she wants to.
Yeah, which I hope they do that more, because I mean, I really love these crossovers. I really do.
Yeah.
I think it's just cool to just see all of the shows working together like that, because they're all the same property, and it's just really cool.
Yeah, you get, we had a little bit of like the Avengers moments in this. Just having all the heroes sharing one single frame, like everybody's in the shot together, lined up, ready to fight some shit. Earlier
in the last step in Legends, I don't know if you caught it though. Did you hear him call him Earth's mightiest heroes?
I did. Yeah.
I was like, that's the Avengers line, asshole.
Well, did you catch the jab from Mick to the Steel guy that was? I felt like a jab at Captain America.
No, I missed that part.
Called him the Star Spangled Idiot.
I totally missed that.
Because he's got the big like red, white, and blue star-chested uniform.
Yeah. I like that uniform. I don't like the helmet though.
Yeah, the helmet's kind of weird.
Well, you know what it is. That's a money saver. Keep the helmet on. You don't have to worry about CG in the face so much.
Yeah, we still gotta like CG the mouth. I feel like that would be harder to work around the helmet to CG instead of just doing the whole head.
CG and eyes.
Yeah, but his mouth and like chin and stuff is still exposed. Like the bottom half of his face.
You don't have to worry about facial expressions though.
Okay, point taken.
Let's see. I'm a thinker, man. I'm a thinker.
You should budget all these shows.
I could make millions, I think. I missed my calling. I really did.
Alright, so I feel like we're already getting into more of this than what Supergirl offered, so we'll just go on to Flash.
Yeah. Okay, see you, Supergirl.
Flash was really where it kicked off. I mean,
Absolutely, yeah.
The aliens invaded there, Barry went to recruit everybody.
I like how they tried to give Barry the helm, and he's like, he couldn't do it.
Well, it was kind of fun seeing, and, all three of the episodes between Flash, Arrow, and Legends.
Yeah.
Barry's still wallowing in, like, self-pity.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, he gets them. He fucked up bad. He fucked up pretty bad.
But I really enjoyed how Oliver was there really, like, supporting him through everything.
Yeah.
Like, really had his back.
Yeah. He did, you're right.
Which I liked.
How about we saw the Hall of Justice? That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, you had to remind me of that. I didn't even catch that the first time.
Yeah. You look at that thing, that is absolutely the Hall of Justice. Because he even called it, like, he's like, oh, we got this hall or something like that from Star Labs. And it is absolutely, if you look back at any freaking DC iteration of the Hall of Justice, it is exactly the Hall of Justice.
I was a little confused by that, I think, because, like, the shot, like, the outside of the hall, it doesn't look like a hangar. It looks more like a museum. And then when they're like, oh, yeah, we're in the hall, like, when they're training, you're supposed to think they're in the hall, but it just looks like a big hangar, and they're at an airport. Maybe
there was an annex. I don't know. It's just another part.
I don't know, like, the logistics of it, like, just really, really confused me. Because, like, even if they're, like, hanging out the back of the hall, like, I don't see any runways in those shots, like, to show you that they're coming out the back of the building.
Well, no, you saw the runways when, like, the cars pulled up and stuff like that. You could see they were driving on a long stretch of road.
Well, I mean, like, when you get when they show the building, like, from the front.
Yeah. Well,
it almost looks like it's on a hilltop, and yet I was really confused how there's runways behind it that they're at, unless I really, really missed something, but that was the way I was interpreting the way it looked. I don't know, I was going to try to look at a picture, but I don't really feel like doing that right now.
No, because you're right. Every picture you see is just the front, because that's the iconic photo. That's the iconic look of the Hall of Justice from DC, so that's why they would only show that.
Yeah, I mean, it did look good from the outside, so I'm hoping they build on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe they'll use it for other future crossovers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that could be a good grounds for it, and like a foothold for future crossovers.
Yeah.
And maybe even bring Superman into the mix. Because Superman's introduced now.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's...
I thought there was rumblings, too, of him, like, possibly getting his own show.
That'd be cool. I'd be alright with that, because I actually liked him.
I thought he did a really good job.
I thought he was pretty cool. You know what I was... we'll go back to Supergirl real quick with, we got Cyborg Superman, which I think that's a little hokey.
The actual Hank Henshaw.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Dean Cain. I'd have loved it to be Dean Cain. It'd have been awesome to pull back the old Superman like that.
Oh, did you get the bring it back around to the crossover, but with Legends? Did you catch the jab bit? Well, not jab, but the sort of like wink nudge thing from Brandon Routh. Like he had one line for Supergirl saying like, "Oh, she looks like my cousin" or something like that.
I did. I was wondering what the fuck he was talking about.
And then like him and Felicity sort of look at each other like they're all confused.
Yeah,
but I think it was just kind of like, "Hey, he used to play Superman."
I think yeah, you're right. That's funny because I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Now that you say that, I was like, oh, that's exactly what he was talking about. I was like, wait, are we gonna see? That's like, I was like, wait, are we gonna see Supergirl in Legends or something? It's like, and then you say that, I'm like, oh, you idiot! How did you miss that?
Yeah, I wrote that one down because I like that one.
Yeah, that was good.
I will say too, like I didn't think, and I don't know how much humor they try to put in Supergirl, but I don't usually laugh all that much at Supergirl.
Mm-mm.
As soon as we hit the Flash in this crossover, I was laughing all over the place.
Oh, I was too.
Diggle, between Mick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those two guys cracked me up.
Yeah. Yeah, I seem to laugh a lot more with Flash than I do with the other shows.
Yeah. One of the big things, I guess, that the Flash gave us, or at least this part of the crossover, was the message that's been teased in Legends of Tomorrow from Future Barry.
Yep.
I did get a transcript of that thing, so I'll read it now, and we can sort of, because I feel like this raises a lot of questions. I don't know where the hell it's going to go, but
yeah, because it's like still 40 years in the future that he sent that. Right?
Yeah. So 40 years from 26. So I guess 2040 or 2056.
Yeah.
So this is the message that Firestorm, that Dr. Stein and what the fuck's the other guy, Jax, found in the secret room on the Wave Rider from Future Barry. The message goes, "A war is coming, Captain Hunter. At some point you're going to be called back to Central City to fight it. So you need to know that while you and your team have been in the temporal zone, I made a choice that affected the timeline. As you know, whenever you alter the past, those changes affect the present and get compounded in the future. When you return, you will be in a new timeline I created where everyone's past and everyone's future has been affected, including yours. When you come back, don't trust anything or anyone, not even me." He can't be referring to the Dominators, right? Like, he's got to be talking about something else.
Yeah, because, I mean, it seems like that's... Because it's weird, because it says it's from future. It's like 2056. So, like, why would he be talking about something that happened 40 years ago, unless that war was still raging? I don't know.
Unless they come back in 40 years?
Maybe.
Because, the other thing that stood out to me is that, when the hell did Barry meet Rip?
Who knows?
Because they haven't met yet.
They're fellow time travelers. I don't know.
Because Rip's still missing.
Yeah, who knows? Well, who knows where Rip's at in all this? You know, he might be hanging out with Barry somewhere.
Well, that was another thing. Is do you think Rip disappeared because of Flashpoint? Do you think Flashpoint affected Rip somehow that he's gone from the timeline?
Oh, man, that's a good call. Damn, this fucking time travel shit gives me a headache.
Because he specifically says, Barry says, I created new timeline I created where everyone's past and everyone's future has been affected, including yours.
Yeah.
He's addressing Rip. So he specifically affected him somehow.
Yeah, it seems like it.
And I don't know what's going to get worse for Rip because his family's already dead. So
I mean, his character still exists. Like, he's still signed on, right? Like, he's going to make a comeback at some point?
I assumed so, but I don't actually know.
Maybe that was, kind of like their whole Cat Grant, maybe that's their whole way of just getting rid of him. I don't know.
See, I really thought that the way Legends started this season, everybody scattered. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, this season's going to be trying to regather the team. And then they did that in one episode. The only one they're missing is Rip.
Yeah.
And then no one's looking for Rip.
Yeah,
they're just going around stopping time anomalies and stuff, and no one seems to be caring that Rip is still missing.
Yeah, it is. It's really screwy.
So I don't know if it's got to be a storyline they're saving for later, but the urgency of it doesn't. It feels like it should be more urgent than what it is, on the back burner type of stuff. Especially given now that we've heard this whole message,
Oh wait, it looks like Rip comes back next episode.
Oh, for the mid-season finale?
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Sorry. I'm just looking at like I'm looking at IMDb and see what he's slated for. He's slated for episode 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 so far for the rest of the season. So maybe he does come back somehow. Maybe he's a bad guy. I don't know. Maybe he's a time pirate. I don't know.
Oh, maybe he's the one creating all these anomalies they're trying to fix.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Rip the time pirate.
Yeah, I don't know. I
thought I saw Snart in the preview. Did you catch that? Did you see him
for what?
For next week's episode of Legends?
I skip all that stuff. I never watch them.
Okay, I did, and I saw Snart, so I don't know what the hell's going on now.
Yeah, because again, stupid
Maybe
shit
it's
like
just a
that.
flashback
It's something I'd rather just watch on the episode, and all these previews always give me too much fucking information.
Well, that gave me no information other than the fact that they're going to be dealing with Al Capone in this one, so they're going to be in the 30s, I'm assuming.
Yeah, okay.
So, other than that, that's all I really got out of it.
Well, other than you said Snart might be there.
Snart might be there, but it might be a flashback or something. I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, next Thursday, a week from today. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Anything else you want to pull from this message? Because I feel like it raises a lot of questions, none of which are answered, I think, in this crossover.
No, unless that's what he's talking about, but I don't think it is. I don't think
it's. I think it's too on the nose to be about the Dominators. It's got to be about something else, and I don't know if this means Barry goes back again to try to fix something and fucks up even more.
Maybe he tries the reverse Flashpoint again. Maybe he tries the Flashpoint.
I feel like that would go against what he's doing, because now it's like he's so guilty over what he did. I don't feel like he'd ever time travel again.
Yeah, unless he absolutely has to. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. I don't get it, and I'm not sure. Or maybe something that has to do with alchemy and Savitar. Maybe it has something to do with that he's going to have to. I don't know. It's weird.
And it's all cryptic what he says, when you come back, don't trust anything or anyone, not even me. Like, what? I don't understand why not trust Barry if he's the one giving you the message.
They must be leading up to something huge.
The season finale crossover.
Yeah, maybe. That'd be cool.
Well, you'd think the Legends are going to be enough to take on, Reverse Flash and Damien Dark, or do you think they're going to need help from, Flash and other people?
They absolutely need a speedster to keep up with the fight a speedster. You need a speedster to fight a speedster. Plain and simple. Maybe they could. I don't know. But
I'm sure they'll find a way to do it if they don't want to do another crossover.
Yeah.
But
they could invent something. Gideon can come up with something on the ship. I don't know.
Yeah.
Replicate something. I don't
Gotta do the replicate stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to move us along just to make sure we sort of wrap this up sort of soon. Arrow was the next show out of the gate with the crossover. As we mentioned earlier, Arrow's celebrating its 100th episode with this one.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels a little disjointed, mainly because it focused a lot on the Arrow cast, and then hook up to the Matrix-like machine and
the Animus, as I was calling it. I was calling it the Animus.
Oh, that would work too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, for 100 episodes, you almost feel like they're going to do some sort of flashback episode, or, some sort of look back at, where the show was. That's almost a given.
Mm-hmm.
So when all that considered, I think they did it fairly creatively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to fit it into this whole little crossover timeline. It worked.
Yeah.
It's still weird, but it worked. It was cool to see some old characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, seeing his parents back, I thought worked pretty well.
And it didn't hurt to see Laurel.
Oh, your girl.
Oh. Yeah.
Might be the last time you ever see her on the show, so
probably
soak it in.
I really thought they were going to keep her on that show. I figured the Flashpoint would change something with her. That's why I was banking on that. Flashpoint changing her death.
See, I feel like they just didn't know what to do with Laurel anymore.
True.
So she seemed like I felt that way with Dig too. I thought Dig was going to be the one to go because they didn't know what to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
But then they made him kill his brother, and then it's like, oh, he's got baggage now. So now he seems like an interesting character again.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Easter eggs, I think I had to, maybe we talked about this off air too, but the Easter egg for Tommy
Yeah.
that they talked about at the party.
Yeah. It was like, we talked about it last night.
How, I guess the actor's name, I had to look him up because I couldn't remember. Colin Donnell was the guy that played Tommy. So after Arrow, he's starring in Chicago Med now. So during the show, they have Malcolm and Thea talking, and I think Thea says something to Malcolm about, like, where's Tommy at? And Malcolm says, oh, he's being a doctor out in Chicago. Something like that. So that was a direct, they're basically telling the audience where to find him if they want to watch
him. Yeah. If you want to see this guy, go there.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty, and then I think right at the end of that conversation, Malcolm even says something like, oh, your father must be very proud. Because, he's her dad.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun too. But yes, seeing all the old characters come back, his parents I thought was cool. I didn't realize how much we hadn't seen Malcolm until he showed up in that episode.
Yeah. It's been a while.
He's been missing for a while.
He's been missing this whole season, I think, with Flashpoint. I don't think we've seen him yet. I think that was the first time we did.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing him at all this season. Well, what the hell was he up to last? Like, where...
He got his hand lopped off, and he was working with Damien Dark, and I don't know what happened to him after the nuclear missile or the thing fell down.
Oh,
but I thought he left. I thought he escaped that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's dead.
I don't think he is either. That's why I think he might be Prometheus.
Because he's still part of the League, right?
I think.
Like heading the League.
He's the Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think him being Prometheus is too easy. I think it's gotta be somebody else. I'm telling you, I think it's gonna be Quentin, and I think it's gonna be whenever he blacks out, he just goes on these killing rampages and doesn't know it.
See, that would surprise me, because I don't feel like that would fit, but I do feel like it has to be someone we know, because if they pull that mask off and it's just a nobody, you're gonna be like, well, why should I care about this?
Watch it be, what's-her-face's boyfriend. Felicity.
Oh, the cop
boyfriend.
guy.
Yeah, watch it be Felicity's boyfriend.
Oh, I thought about him for the vigilante guy too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the DA is the vigilante. I'm pretty sure.
That's true. I think that's a safe bet. I think Felicity's new boyfriend should be Prometheus.
But you know what though? Because you know how like when they started putting the puzzle together and they realized that it's the people that he's killing, Prometheus is killing, is people that were in Oliver's dad's book.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking it's got to be somebody that's close to the family. That's why, for some reason, I still think it's Tommy Merlin, that they'd bring him back, but I don't think it is. Maybe they might play it as it's Tommy Merlin, but they won't ever show his face.
See, I could understand, I think that'd be fun. Mm-hmm. Just, one, to bring the character back, because I think, I do really miss that character. Mm. But two, in the flashbacks that you're seeing in the 100th episode, they seem to acknowledge that Tommy's dead.
That's true, yeah.
So that means Flashpoint didn't change anything and Tommy still died.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it's just too much to... Maybe it's Talia al Ghul.
She's supposed to be in the show, right? Didn't I read that somewhere?
Maybe it's her.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Although I don't know what she'd do, like why she'd go after the list of his fathers.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why it's weird. I'm trying to think back at how many people knew about that list.
Yeah, I don't think
somebody would have had to have known. Somebody else would have had to have known.
Wait, the list is still with Oliver, right? Didn't he show it to the team?
Yeah. So there had to be another. There was 2 copies of that book. I remember that.
See, I don't remember that.
That was like way back. We're talking like season 1 or 2. There was multiple.
Did Malcolm
copies.
have one?
I think so.
Okay, so that could maybe put it back into Malcolm's hands.
See,
then.
but I don't know. I think that's just too easy if they make it. If they make it Malcolm, I think that
especially because he was like the Dark Archer or whatever in the first couple of seasons, pretty much wearing the same outfit.
Yeah, but that's
doing the same thing
when they first showed him. That's who I thought it was. I thought it was Malcolm, and then he said, "My name's Prometheus." I'm like, "What the fuck? Who's that?" So hopefully we'll get the reveal because I think he's supposed to be in the next episode, but we probably won't get the reveal until probably sometime in the second half of the season.
No, I think if mid-season finale's coming up, I think you could get a reveal for mid-season finale.
That's true. Yeah,
and then they give you that gap to think about it, and then, you got to deal with all that. Because that was usually how Flash did it.
Yeah, that's true.
Flash would reveal the big bad, who the identity is, like right before the break or right after the break, and then you just deal with the fallout for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you're right.
Because, it adds that tension when the audience knows who it is, but the people in the show don't know who it is.
Maybe it's Laurel.
Oh, you're just dreaming now.
Yeah, a little bit.
I do actually, I want to throw out some props, I think, to like Stephen Amell for all these crossovers. I think he actually finally felt like he was acting in these shows, I think, pretty well. He showed some pretty good range.
Yeah.
The part for me, I think, that stood out was when he was saying goodbye to his parents in this one.
Yeah.
Like, that actually hit me pretty hard.
Yeah, you got a little choked up there. You felt a little bit something.
So, props to you, Stephen Amell.
Good job, Stephen.
Because, you're probably listening.
He is. They're all listening.
I bet. Well, in that case, Grant Gustin fucking kills it, like, in everything, all the time.
I still wish he was the real Flash in the new movies.
I know. Just pulling for him.
That's okay. That movie ain't ever gonna get made anyways.
At the rate they're going.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for Arrow's 100th, or we'll finish with Legends and tie it up?
No, I think that's about it on Arrow.
Okay.
I was jacked that we didn't get to actually see Manu Bennett as Deathstroke. We just saw Deathstroke.
He had like some sort of like personal problems or something. Didn't he get arrested or some shit?
Yeah, he did get arrested. He beat his wife or something like that.
Yeah, so I don't think they want to have him back on the show after that.
I guess.
But I mean, having Deathstroke show up still kind of served the purpose. Like, it was still cool seeing him show up just out of the blue.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll finish up with Legends, which is concluded the crossover. So what did you think with the last part?
I liked it. It was good. It was, I was worried, like, because, like, they kind of, Flash set it up, the invasion set it up, and then Arrow kind of just, like, really was more about the 100th episode and seeing everybody, and slightly with the aliens. And then I'm like, man, how are they gonna finish this up? They're gonna have to, like, jam-pack this one, and they did, and I thought it was a pretty solid episode, beginning to end. I mean, it was pretty much non-stop the whole episode, I felt like. It wasn't a lot of dead time.
Yeah, I think, they did keep it. They bounced around a lot, though, like,
They
between
did.
Different timeline, like, time periods, and I started actually getting really confused at the end, because I didn't know what the fuck Stein was trying to make, like, the little device that they put on all the aliens, and I didn't really understand how all that was working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, they just had Supergirl and Flash running around tagging everybody. Which, having them cover a whole planet in that amount of time, I was like, really?
Yeah, that was a little far-fetched.
Even for me, watching a superhero show, I was like, come on.
Yeah. Flash moves pretty fast.
He does. I give him that. But, like, I don't know, they never really specified how many aliens are landing where and all that crap, and I feel like that's gotta be a lot more than what, like, where did they have... Stein only showed them, like, one little device. And then they're tagging, like, thousands and thousands of aliens with these things. How do they mass produce them that quickly?
I'm thinking they were nano, and I think they were all in that device. Because remember when Oliver shot one of them in the neck with the arrow? It was like a little itty-bitty thing on his neck. You could barely see it.
All right. Okay. That would make a little bit more sense to me.
I guess. It is a comic book show.
It's still better than what I had in my head. I'm thinking they're all that big.
Yeah, with this big disc. Like, how are they not going to notice that?
Yeah. Still, at the end, I liked seeing everybody fight all this stuff, and it was awesome seeing, again, everybody on screen in, like, one shot. Mm-hmm. Having your Avengers-esque shot.
Yeah, definitely was cool.
But, I was still just kind of lost, like, what was, like, the point of what was going on, other than, like, we gotta just punch aliens now.
Avengers-esque.
Well, that's true, too. But, I mean, like, you understand what they were doing and why.
Yeah.
Like, their whole plan. But, I don't know, this one seemed a little bit more half-assed to me, but not that I didn't enjoy it. I still really liked it.
Yeah.
And actually, just sort of going back to the Arrow, sort of while I'm thinking about it, do you think that episode would have benefited from... Would you have rather seen the more tie into the crossover, or would you rather have seen just a more of a single, like, Arrow-esque 100th episode and not have to worry about the crossover at all?
I would have rather seen a 100th episode that had nothing to do with the crossover. I would rather have had them maybe, like, develop more of the Dominator backstory in Arrow, like finding out, like, how to beat him and then beat him in Legends. instead of kind of just shoving it all into Legends to end it.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like if they would have spread it out more so through the 3 episodes, because really, if you think about it, they did the invasion in 2 episodes. Really, it was 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Flash and Legends. If they would have maybe moved it around, that like maybe it was like the mid-season finale, or
well, you know, I mean, like you sort of mentioned it too. Like each episode of the crossover sort of focused on that show's characters more than the other ones. I was, in my mind, I don't know why I thought this, but when they hype a 4-show crossover, I was expecting like a 4-hour movie.
Yeah.
Just all the characters show up together in the first hour, and then they deal with the problem the next 3 episodes and finally solve it in the 4th one.
Yeah, I kind of wish this crossover didn't fall into the 100th episode category of Arrow, because I think that kind of took away from the crossover event.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't think the episode was bad, it's just I think it took away from the whole crossover event, you know, this big 4 episode crossover event. I think that was
yeah, I do think some of the smaller crossovers I think worked better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think now. I can't for the life of me think of what some of those other crossovers were.
Well, they did 3. They did Legends, Arrow, and Flash. They did that crossover.
That was like to spin off for Legends, right? Well, that was when they were hyping
so.
all the like you got your first Hawk Girl and Hawk Guy.
Yeah.
Thing in there. Like those was when we first met Vandal Savage.
Yes. So that was good, and then just like the original, you know, Arrow Flash crossover. That's really all they've done. They haven't really done much else, I don't think, other than like, you know, side characters crossing over to other shows.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like Felicity's been on Flash a couple times.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Cisco's gone over to Arrow a couple times, I think.
Yeah.
And then you have like just the random time, like I can't remember if it was season 1 or it was season 2. Shit, now I can't remember what season of Flash it was, but like Oliver in his Arrow outfit just shows up to fight either Reverse Flash or Zoom with Flash for a minute, and then they get him captured, and then he just kind of leaves again.
No, that.
So I couldn't remember which villain he fought, but it was one of those seasons where he just shows up at the end to help Barry fight the villain. Mm-hmm. They like take him out. Barry takes him into custody, and then just Oliver just kind of like leaves, and almost like saying like, "Well, I got my own shit to worry about. Good luck."
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. Wow.
It wasn't a full episode thing. It was just like 10 minutes of screen time.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, Legends is still cool. I do like what they're doing, and you know, for as much as they had, like you were saying, as much as they had to jam pack in this episode, I think they did as good as they could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hate to say it, but I really think the 100th episode of Arrow kind of stalled the crossover.
Well, you said before you like the even episodes better than the...
Well, absolutely. The Flash episode and the Legends episode, because that focused more on the invasion. Like, it was about the Dominators. You got to see them, you got to fight them, you know, whatever. Whereas, you could specifically tell that the Flash was centered around it being the 100th episode.
Yeah.
Screw that they were hooked up to mind control devices thinking it, but, I mean, I see what they did, but I don't know. I think it would have just been better off if this was not around the 100th episode. And they had just all 3 of those episodes dealing with the Dominators instead of being in a pod.
Yeah, I agree with you, except that I still think... I really like the 100th of Arrow.
I did, but it didn't fit it fit, but it didn't fit the crossover.
I could have done without all the side... Like, I could have done without Team Arrow doing stuff in that episode. I would have rather just had...
Yeah.
Split between the invasion stuff and split between the flashbacky 100th episode stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't need to see any of the team going after a bionic woman to get a piece of something to use somewhere that I don't even really still understand what they used it for.
Yeah, well, I guess they just had to include the cast, you know.
Yeah, that's basically it. One thing that sort of stood out to me and was sort of kind of confusing with Legends is like, it ends with the new president thanking this whole team of heroes very publicly on stage. I don't feel like some of those people want to be there. Like, I can't imagine Mick standing there on stage being acknowledged for being a hero.
Yeah, and then Supergirl, who doesn't even exist on that planet.
Right. Like, that just seems so unnecessary and out of place.
Yeah, it did. You're right. Absolutely. Because I was thinking, I was like, why the hell, like, I can understand if maybe they did it without Supergirl, but, like, because, I mean, I'm sure they're not going to give away that, oh, look, hey, we could jump between worlds, you know?
Yeah, really. And there has to be some sort of, like, serious fucking fallout from a fucking planet-wide alien invasion happening in the Arrowverse, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna come out with the Accords.
the Alien Accords.
Yeah, the Alien Accords now.
Do you think it's going to be some sort of, like, not necessarily superhuman, well, I guess, yeah, like a metahuman registration or something like that?
Maybe that's what starts, maybe that's that war that Barry's talking about. That they're gonna go, like, down the X-Men road.
Well, actually, that could be something they were hinting at. That's the whole thing that, that the Dominators were worried about, is metahumans getting to a point where they just cause more harm than good.
Mm-hmm.
That could be what happens in 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. Ooh. Now I'm getting excited and interested to see where that goes.
Or maybe that's how they're tying in Legends with the Reverse Flash and all that. Maybe, like, giving because they said, didn't they see something about, like, people giving themselves powers that didn't actually have, like, developing powers themselves, like manufacturing their powers? I thought I heard them say that.
Maybe.
Like a normal man can manufacture power, and that's what scares them or something. I don't know. So I thought they said something along those lines. Maybe I'm just starting to hallucinate.
I think I heard something similar to that, but I took it, maybe I heard it wrong too, but I took it as sort of like genetically. Like generations from now, like whoever these heroes are have powers, and then they have kids, and they have powers.
I took it the other way. I took it as, like, technology change, where they can, like, basically, like, create themselves powers. Kind of like Steel did. He injected himself with something, and all of a sudden we got powers.
I think that would be more likely if you're going to have, like, metahumans overrunning and causing more destruction. Like, you figure you got to have a shit ton of them. So if you have a way to manufacture powers like that, that would make sense. To make that be a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess we'll have to see. I mean, it's got to be referencing something that's happening this season.
Yeah, I'm sure
I just don't know which show it's going to happen, whether it's
Yeah.
going to be Legends or Flash, but yeah, one of those should be good.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we'll probably just sort of wrap it up. Just, I guess, generally speaking, as sort of a wrap up, what did you think of the crossover as a whole?
Oh, I liked it. I like seeing like you said, like the Avengers style. I like seeing everybody together. I think it's cool. It just maybe would tweaked a few things and maybe made all 4 episodes actually part of the crossover instead of 1 standalone episodes, 2 that were definite, and 1 that was kind of like, we'll just kind of fit this in here.
Yeah. Yeah, when you hype that big 4-episode crossover thing, I think we all sort of get an idea in our head on what it should be.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite hit that, but
yeah,
it
was still good.
I still enjoyed it. Just seeing, all the characters bleed into each other's shows.
Yeah.
In itself, I think is cool. Even because I'm even satisfied usually with little cameos from people just popping up and being like, "Oh, look, there's Oliver in Legends or something."
Yeah, exactly.
It's always kind of cool. All right, so that's sort of what we got and we took from the crossover episode. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to talk about these seasons later on, maybe after the seasons wrap up, or I don't know if we'll get a chance to talk about like the mid-season finale or something. I feel like there's other shit coming up that will warrant some more time on the podcast, but I do hope we get to revisit these shows, hopefully sooner rather than later, but we'll see. So yeah, if you watch the crossover, feel free to comment on the Facebook page or something. Let us know what you thought of the shows. If you agree with us, if you like them, what you thought. If you didn't like them, it doesn't matter. We'll see if we can spark some discussion there. But that's where we'll leave this one. So if you enjoyed the show, please stop by iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating and review. You can be sure to share, subscribe, favorite the show, so you can come back to us, find us whenever you would like. We'll be here. And as I mentioned, you can comment on Facebook about the show. You can find us at www.facebook.com/BryGuySuperFriends. And on behalf of Mike and myself, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.